Welcome to another lecture by MedicoMedics. Immunology, Chapter 1. What is the immune system? In this lecture, we will provide a general introduction to immunology. First of all, asking the question, what is the immune system? We will talk about components of the immune system, how it works, some important organs involved, the cells of the immune system. We will differentiate between innate and adaptive responses, and end with a summary. Now, the immune system is the body's defense against harmful pathogens. These pathogens include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Furthermore, it includes abnormal cells and harmful substances. Now, what's the purpose of the immune system? Well, first of all, to protect, meaning to prevent infections and diseases. Second, to detect, meaning identify harmful invaders. And finally, to respond, meaning to eliminate pathogens and repair damage. Now let's begin with the components of the immune system. So we differentiate between innate immunity and adaptive immunity. Our innate immunity is our body's first line of defense. This one is fast and non-specific. It includes physical barriers like our skin and mucous membranes. It includes chemical barriers like our stomach acid. And it includes immune cells like macrophages and neutrophils. And just to orientate yourself, we have here the bone marrow illustrated and the different cells that come from the hematopoietic stem cell, where we differentiate into the myeloid tree and the lymphoid tree. So when we mention macrophages and neutrophils, you can identify them here and here, meaning they come from the myeloid progenitor cell. Now, when we talk about adaptive immunity, we talk about the second line of defense. This one is more specific and slower. So you already have a way to differentiate between adaptive and innate immunity. One is fast, the other one is slower. One is non-specific, the other one is specific. Our adaptive immunity includes T and B lymphocytes. So if you look here at the illustration you see from the lymphoid progenitor cell, we have the T cell, and we have B cell and natural killer cells. A key and unique feature of our adaptive immune system is that it provides memory for faster responses upon re-exposure. So all in all, the immune system has two levels: a quick general response, which is our innate response, and a targeted learned response, our adaptive immune response. Now, how does the immune system work? First of all, we have to talk about recognition. So the immune system detects foreign substances through receptors on immune cells. It identifies antigens. These antigens are unique molecules that sit on these pathogens. So whatever that unknown pathogen is that enters our body, there are unique molecules sitting on this pathogen. We call these antigens, and our immune system are taught to identify these antigens. Then, after talking about recognition, recognizing this unknown pathogen, let's say, we need a response. So the innate immune system responds first with inflammation, with phagocytosis, and signaling molecules. For example, cytokines. After that, our adaptive immune system takes over to specifically target the pathogen. So to simplify it in a way, we have an unknown pathogen entering into our body. We have an immediate innate response to this, leading to cells arriving to the place of, let's say, infection or inflammation, whereby inflammation then starts. We will have cells from our innate immune system, like macrophages, engulfing these bacteria, let's say. When they do, they break it down and release signaling molecules. We then have our adaptive immune system. As we mentioned before, we talked about T lymphocytes or T cells and B cells, etc. We will go, as we move along in this course, into greater detail of each of these cells. But an idea is here that after our innate immune system has responded to this, engulfed it, degraded its content and released it, signaling molecules will tell our T cells, for example, to come, to give further notice, so to speak, to alarm our adaptive immune system to come and help. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because we will dive into details as we move along on how all of this actually works. So we've had recognition, we've had response, and then we have memory. So after an infection, our adaptive immunity remembers the pathogen. This ensures faster and stronger responses in the future. So in layman's term, your immune system recognizes bad guys, attacks them, and remembers them for the future. What about the organs of the immune system? So when we talk about immunology, which organs are most relevant to us? First of all, we talk about the primary organs. These include the bone marrow. As you saw in the illustration before of the hematopoietic lineage, the bone marrow produces all our blood cells, including our immune cells. So they all stem from the blood marrow. But we also have the thymus. This is where T cells that also come from the bone marrow migrate to the thymus to mature into functional active T lymphocytes, meaning proper T cells. Furthermore, we have secondary organs. We have lymph nodes. These filter lymph and traps pathogens. And you can see here a general illustration over the lymphatic system. And you see these things that look like nodes. That's exactly what they are. These are lymph nodes scattered all over our body. So this is where lymphatic fluid is filtered, and this is where pathogens get trapped. They are also very rich in different immune cells. Furthermore, we have the spleen. This is where old blood cells are removed, and it also helps in detecting pathogens flowing in our blood. And in our gut, lungs, and other mucosal surfaces, we have something called mucosal-associated lymphoid tissue, or MALT for short. Again, there is no point in memorizing this right now. It's just to navigate yourself on what key organs are or will be discussed as we move along. One thing to keep in mind is that when we talk about the circulatory system, the cardiovascular system, most, I would say, med students will think of arterial blood and venous blood, meaning our arteries and veins. Those two are typically what we think about when we think about the whole body, vessels that run through our entire body. But there is a third plumbing or third system, which is the lymphatic system. For example, excess blood or excess volume in our blood can be filtered out through our lymphatic system. We talk about this more in our courses on physiology. So you can think of the immune organs as different factories and different checkpoints where our soldiers, quote unquote, our immune cells, are made and trained. Now, moving on, let's briefly mention some cells of the immune system. So when we talk about innate immune cells, as we mentioned, we have the neutrophils. These are first responders that engulf bacteria. We have macrophages. These clean up debris and pathogens. We have dendritic cells. These are antigen presenting cells, meaning they present the antigen to the T cells. If you remember, we briefly made a sketch before where a pathogen enters, a neutrophil will engulf this, and a macrophage, it will break it down, and it will take the antigen. The antigen was a unique molecule that was sitting on this pathogen, if you remember. It will take this antigen and present it on top of its own cell surface. And this is for our circulating T cells to recognize that I need to do something here. Perhaps it's to alarm the rest of our immune system, or to destroy it, for example. We have very different types of T cells, whereby one type of T cell will come and destroy this cell. More on that later. Furthermore, we have natural killer cells. These are meant to destroy infected or abnormal cells. So that's the innate immune cells. Then we have the adaptive immune cells, whereby we have the T cells and B cells. And the T cells help coordinate the immune response and to kill infected cells. Now, we will dive into greater detail on the adaptive immune cells as we move along in this course. However, I could just briefly mention that we have, for example, two very high yield and well-known and often repeated types of T cells. One of these is the CD4 T cell, also known as the T helper cell, mostly connected or involved in the coordinating part of the T cell function, meaning it helps alarm or send out alarms and coordinate a response. We also, as mentioned here, have T cells that kill infected cells. So you will come to learn about CD8 T cells. These are also called cytotoxic T cells. So they're toxic to cyto, meaning they're toxic to cells. So T helper cells, CD4, T killer cells, or cytotoxic T cells, CD8. Then we have the B cells, which produce antibodies to neutralize pathogens. And it is here we will talk about memory cells, how our adaptive immune system remembers for future exposure. So let's just clarify once more. When we talk about the innate immunity, speed-wise, it is immediate, so it happens within minutes. If we're talking about adaptive immunity, it can be delayed up to days. The specificity of our innate immune system is non-specific versus the adaptive, which is highly specific. Our innate immunity has no memory, and our adaptive has long-term memory. The key players in our innate immune system is the macrophages and neutrophils versus T cells and B cells. So why is the immune system so important? Well, it helps prevent infections. It stops pathogens before they spread. Furthermore, it is involved in destroying abnormal cells. So, for example, preventing cancers from growing. Because we have normal cell division, if we have mutations or failures of our tumor suppressor genes, we can have overproliferation of cells. And if there is an abnormal cell, we want our body to identify it and stop it. This is one of the main roles of our immune system. Furthermore, repairs tissues, so it helps heal wounds and maintain body integrity. So in conclusion then, the immune system defends against infections, abnormal cells, and toxins. It has two main parts, the innate, which is quick and general, and our adaptive immune system, which is slow and specific. Key components include immune cells, organs, and processes that work together seamlessly. And that's the end of this first introduction. Continue now to chapter 2.